So as we continue, man, these guys then went and killed the I guess he was a DJ or radio host at the radio station. Man, these guys went and killed him, and of course, Pooh Shiesty's dad was behind it. And y'all, guess what? He did the dumbest thing you could ever do. So like, share, and subscribe for this one, man. 'Cause this run deep. So Pooh Shiesty ain't do that to Gucci Man for no reason. This come from the tree.
Instantly, Stanley rushes into her apartment and puts his hands around her neck. Sadly, this is where she loses her life. After doing this, Stanley quietly goes to her apartment, takes all of her belongings, and heads home. Well, the next day, after not showing up for work, her coworkers were concerned, so they went to her apartment, and there they found her on the ground. A real massive tragedy for the city of Memphis, but after everyone was done grieving, they were like, what the heck could that have been? Rebecca was well liked by everyone, so who in the world could have wanted to do this? For many days, police would have no clue. But then, somebody would make a dumb mistake.
And a dumb mistake, just the father made a dumb mistake, and of course the son that came around, we in the year 2026, and he done made a dumb mistake. Let's keep it going, y'all.
After receiving all of Rebecca's belongings from Stanley, our mob boss LamonttharealYT would go to the mall and use her credit cards. Then, if that's not bad enough, he would list all of her jewelry and personal belongings on Craigslist under his own account. So just like that, in a few days, police would pick him up, and then days later, Stanley would be arrested for murder. All in all, mob boss might be America's dumbest criminal. Well, of course, Stanley would get life in prison, and for mob boss LamonttharealYT, he would only get 1.5 years, and then he'd be right back home to Memphis. So I tell this story to show you that Pooh Shiesty, also known as LamonttharealYT Jr., was raised by serious criminals, but also by dumb criminals.
Yeah, also by dumb criminals, because why in the hell would you go, you take this lady's stuff out of her apartment, then you turned around and used the credit cards, and you went and put her stuff on Craigslist? Come on, bro. You can't be that stupid.
His father is the sloppiest criminal ever, but somehow he never really gets serious consequences. For example, right after getting out for this, he'd catch another felony, do another year, and then after that, in 2009, he'd get another felony, and then he'd do less than a year for that. If you're unfamiliar, in a state like Tennessee, this is impossible. They're just waiting to get you out of here. But as discovered in 2026 paperwork, he had been cooperating with police since the year 2007. This will be very
And I was gonna say that, but too, because how is it that you get locked up, then you only do a year and a half, and your boy get life for the murder? Come on, bro. That man was telling.
important down the line. But for now, we move on. With his father in the streets and in and out of jail constantly, a young LamonttharealYT Jr. never had real guidance, and sadly he'd fall into the streets as well. Being exposed to everything at a very early age made him grow up way too fast. Believe it or not, by the age of 10, he was already breaking in cars and doing armed robberies, something that people that are like 17 years old still have never even thought of. But this was completely normal to him, and by the age of 11, he was already arrested and on ankle monitor. Basically, he wanted to be just like his father, getting fast money, getting all the girls, you know, doing whatever the hell he wants. And at this early age, the lifestyle was already rewarding him, as he had nice shoes, clothes, swag, everything was put together. And while you will get girls off this, in a city like Memphis, you'll also get a bunch of haters. So believe it or not, in 2013, at just the age of 14 years old, LamonttharealYT Jr. would catch a hot one. The rumor states that somebody at school was hating on him, they'd go back and forth, and after school, he'd shoot him in the leg. So already at just 14 years old, he was fully in the streets and now almost lost his life. So on top of all the trapping and hidden licks, he was now carrying heat every single day just to protect his life.
And it's crazy because, like I said, y'all, the apple don't fall far from the tree, and this man really was, you know, basically exposed and traumatized at the same time. You hear me? So that thing with Gucci Man definitely played a role, but it played a role from the apple in the tree. You know what I mean? So, man, I don't know, y'all. Y'all let me know.
Now mind you, all of that was just middle school, so now we fast forward to high school. High school would kind of be a great time for LamonttharealYT Jr., but because he was like the coolest kid at school, and him and his homie Big 30, they'd start their own gang. This would be known as Choppa Gang, and together they were getting all the girls, the money, the guns. They were just lit. But not only would Choppa Gang exist at school, but it was also active in the streets. And obviously, being in a city like Memphis, just being in the streets will introduce you to serious beef. In this case, beef with a crosstown gang known as EBG, which stands for E-Bezel Gang, which commemorates a fallen member in 2015. Well, long story short, EBG is nothing to play with, and losses would go back and forth on both sides, but we ain't got time for that in this video. On top of that, to be honest, the details are very slim.
Yeah, like he said, we ain't got time for that. We just cutting to the chase, man, and showing y'all the where this all stemmed from. Pooh Shiesty ain't gonna do that to Gucci Man, like I said, for no reason. That is it's in his genes. So it's like, what could we all do? And this is a prime example of we are a product of our environment. You know what I mean? What we see and do in the hood is definitely going to spoil over everything. But it also, like they said, it always starts at home. It comes from the parents. So, I'm a firm believer just by seeing this that is really true.
Because unlike Chicago, where the whole world is following who kills who, in Memphis, nobody really knows. I mean, the city averages like 300 murders a year, and only 100 of them get solved, so nobody really actually knows. Well, anyways, for Lontrell, living in the Cane Creek apartments, being a part of Choppa Gang, beefing with EBG, all of this gets him in another very serious situation. And that quickly takes us to June of 2016. It's the summertime before his senior year of high school, and Lontrell Jr. is outside living it up. And on this particular day, there happens to be a community basketball game organized by the police. Number one, it's a fundraiser to raise money for the community, and number two, it's a way to get the kids off the streets. So Pooh and his Choppa Gang homies go to the event thinking,
Or it could have been a way for the police to kind of pinpoint and see who these gang member faces is. Man, they be doing so much stuff that it just don't make sense. But they knew what they was doing when they threw this event.
that, hey, there's a lot of police, it's definitely going to be safe. But that's not the case. Pow! A rival sees him and shoots him in the arm. Thankfully, he survives after being rushed to the hospital, but this just goes to show how dangerous Memphis is. If your rival sees you, it does not matter where you are, how many people around, or even that there's police around, they're going to target you. Now, details on the situation are definitely limited, so I'm not going to make anything up. But Pooh's rival EBG Jizzle would say in a song that Lil Rodney did it. To be honest, I don't know who Lil Rodney is, and I don't really care to know either. But either way, from many accounts, after this, Pooh Shiesty would get seriously active in the streets. Bending blocks, catching ops, letting the chop blow. You get the picture. Well, after this scary call and the second time he's been shot, Pooh Shiesty is now approaching adulthood. And at 18 years old, it's the perfect time to try to do something with your life. So inspired by his dad's old record label, he begins making freestyle rap videos in 2016. Under the name of Pooh Shiesty, Pooh being his childhood nickname, and Shiesty, his reputation in the streets. While despite his freestyle videos getting some type of traction in Memphis, at this point he's still fully in the streets. He doesn't yet see the vision, at least not for 2 years, when in 2018 he begins to see the vision. This is when he hops in the booth for the very first time and instantly begins dropping bangers. Right away, he catches a buzz in his region, not only Memphis, but Louisiana, Mississippi, Alabama, all that southern area. Still an underground artist, but he does catch the attention of a major mogul. In April of 2020, Gucci Man discovers Pooh Shiesty.
This where everything transpired, man. This where everything went left. Because soon as these two met and deals was made, and after that, Pooh started realizing and how, what was his name? Big Scar, the guy that um, passed away. I think don't quote me, but y'all know who I'm talking about. Pooh Shiesty cousin. When that happened, it just turned Pooh Shiesty into a whole nother demon, man.
Quickly brings him to Atlanta. Now, for a kid from South Memphis, this is a dream come true. Gucci Man wants to sign me. So quickly, he heads out there, and when he gets there, Gucci Man slaps $1 million on the table. $1 million for 5 albums and 80% of your streams. God!
Right then and there, Pooh ain't care. That's what the $1 million on the table was for, to throw his mind off. Like, oh shit, I got this money. Yeah, woo woo. No, he put you right in the spin cycle. You only getting 20% of your streams. Hell no.
Hell, please do not sign that. That's what we're all thinking. But in his situation, he has $1 million in front of him. He comes from poverty, so of course he signs it. 21 years old with $1 million. I mean, it's really hard to say no to that. But for Gucci, my God, did he pull off the heist of the century. He is taking a risk. You know, Pooh Shiesty could die or go to jail at any moment. But aha, Gucci puts a clause in the contract that if Pooh goes to jail or anything happens, he doesn't have to pay him his money. But get this, even if this does happen, he still owes him the 5 full albums. Well, either way, none of that matters for the meantime, because right away, Pooh Shiesty takes off. The 1017 cosign actually takes him to the national audience, and he packs it up with hit after hit after hit. So everything is going like a dream. The money, the cars, the fame, the hits. But yet, he still wants to be in South Memphis. Even despite Gucci Mane being like, bruh, come move to Atlanta, go move to Miami, you got the money, just get the hell out of Memphis. But just like his pops, Pooh just never wants to leave the hood.
That's where a lot of them take that downfall, man. You either going to end up dead or going to jail, but you got to get out the place you grew up in. You have to, because the guys that you've been around will start hating it, and you know what I mean. Anything can happen, man. Get up out of there.
And that takes us to July 7th, 2020. It's a late night in South Memphis, and Pooh Shiesty is sitting in his car at a gas station. He and 2 homies chilling behind tents at one of the most dangerous gas stations located on Lamar Avenue. Chilling at a dangerous gas station as a now famous rapper? Not a smart decision. Well, at 9:30 p.m., Pooh or one of his homies spot a suspicious car. So either Pooh or one of his friends who's sitting in the passenger seat cocks back their gun and simply waits. Then as soon as they see the man hop out of the suspicious car, they roll down their windows and begin to blow. Bang! Shots ring out back and forth, but thankfully not a single person is hit. So after the bang out, both
That's gonna say airball. Nah, for real. That's dangerous because you shooting around gas pumps. Any one of them bullets could have hit that gas pump and blew that whole gas station up. Like these these guys be ready to die over the dumbest. Like, come on, man. Y'all ready to crash out over something y'all don't even. That's from a past tense life. Like, come on, man.
cars head off in separate directions, and because this is Memphis, it's not investigated. I mean, shootings are so common that in Memphis, if nobody dies, it's really not a big deal. But either way, Pooh Shiesty's license plate is tied to the shooting, which will matter down the line. But when Gucci hears about this through the grapevine, he's like, Pooh, get the hell out of Memphis, bruh. So I suppose he gets the message after this dangerous incident, and he decides to head down to Miami. Now you'd think he'd want to lay low, make some music, make some more money, chill with the girls. No, just like his daddy, he can never get out of the South Memphis street mentality. And that fast forwards us a few months to October 9th, 2020. It's a sunny Friday morning in Miami, and Pooh Shiesty rents out a slime green McLaren to use for a music video. So to make this happen, he meets up with the rental guy, a man by the name of Brandon Cooper. Now Brandon is not your typical rental company, like he's not doing any paperwork, or it's more so hit me up on Instagram, give me some cash, you can use my car for the day. So at 12 p.m, Pooh and a couple of his homies arrive to Bay Harbor Islands to meet up with Brandon. They arrive in a black Maybach and they pull in right next to the McLaren. So Pooh Shiesty hops out, Brandon gets out to meet him, shows him the car, and then has him sit in the driver's seat. Of course, Brandon hops around, hops in the passenger seat, and begins to show him how to use the car. So while they're dealing with all this, Pooh is also awaiting a shoe guy to come sell him some shoes. 12:22 p.m. This shoe guy arrives in a Mercedes and backs in. Well, as soon as he pulls in, 2 of Pooh Shiesty's homies, Bobby and Jaden, hop out. And instead of buying shoes, they whip out guns and they begin to rob him. Man, give me all the designer before I turn this Draco into Mercer. As they're robbing him, one of them accidentally lets off a shot. Pow! And this is when Pooh gets the message. So while sitting in the McLaren, out of nowhere, he whips out a Draco and points it at Brandon. And as Brandon quickly tries to jump out of the car, Pooh lets off a shot. He hits him right in his butt. In the video, you can see Brandon running off holding his backside, which I don't even know how he did that. A 7.62 at close range? Whoo! But quickly, Pooh pulls out with the McLaren.
And it's crazy. I don't know how he did that either, because them Johns, they definitely those are once you pull that trigger, them things spit. But yeah, for him to get him, he was ready to hit something in that upper torso. But this my thing. You drive off in the McLaren, so now not only You get hit with, okay, public endangerment. Pull off with this man's car. Now you done stole somebody's car. Then you leave your bag of money right there.
Speeds off, and then his homies speed off in the Maybach. However, while driving away, he leaves behind a duffel bag full of $40,000. But either way, they somehow get away and seemingly get away with this. Okay, first of all, let's just analyze
And I mean, I ain't really get away because you still you gained something, but then you lost something. You feel me? You done lost $40,000. How?
how dumb the situation is. First of all, even though you arrive with $40,000 in cash and clearly are able to buy the shoes, your boys decide to rob the shoe guy for no reason. Then, for no reason at all, you decide to shoot the car guy in the butt with a Draco for no reason. Then you take off and leave a bag full of cash with all your fingerprints on it. Lord have mercy, dumb, and maybe even dumber than his dad, but yeah, I don't think his dad would have even done this. But again, because he saw his dad go his whole life committing crime after crime and not getting in trouble for real, and then he himself did the same thing and didn't really face consequences either, he thinks that he can just get away with this and it's no problem. Well, for the meantime, it's true. Pooh can simply do whatever he wants. And a month after this incident, he dropped the biggest song he's ever dropped. Come get it, Back in Blood. Back in Blood featuring Lil Durk absolutely takes over the country and even Europe as well. This not only makes Pooh Shiesty a sensation, but also a staple in the game. Now you might be thinking, all this success for such a bad dude. But maybe think twice about that. And now that introduces us to his brother. I now introduce you to Pooh Shiesty's half-brother.
And that's where we gonna end it here, man. I hope y'all enjoyed this video, but let me know what y'all think, man. Did Pooh Shiesty really just do a lot of the dumbest things leading up to the Gucci Mane thing? Like, we seen it. We remember him with the McLaren and, all that whole scenario, but have we seen the smartest or dumbest street guy in the industry? It's Pooh Shiesty Cook, y'all. Let me know down in the comments and the chat. Lamontthareal, and I'm out. Peace.